Hello everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day today. I'm gonna wait for a few of you guys to come in really quick and then we're gonna get started. I do have some pretty cool techniques for you guys today. Let me know if you can hear me when you're in here. I want to make sure everything is ready to go. Kind of saging a little bit. All right, guys. Hello, hello, hello. I did not stream last Wednesday, as you guys probably know. I was camping and it was really fun, but I didn't have a way to update you guys because we didn't decide to stay another day until we were already out in the woods. So I do apologize about last Wednesday. I do want to make it up this Wednesday with some awesome techniques for you guys for out-of-body experiences and being able to move and ignite our energy, because when we have an out-of-body experience, we are using our energy body. So we need to learn how to awaken our energy, how to move around our energy body before we can actually have an out-of-body experience. So that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about today. I do want to give you guys a couple of techniques that you can even use daily that will help you increase your chances of having out-of-body experiences. Hello, Pamela, thank you. Okay, good. And I do have some binaural beats in the background that I made. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that, but hopefully that's not too loud. Hope you are all having a wonderful day. I'm really excited for what is coming up on this channel, all of the content that I have been working on creating for you guys. And just a reminder, if you guys have not checked out the memberships on the channel, there are a ton of benefits to being a member, lots of perks and benefits that you will be able to experience. A few of them are 10% off all of my courses and all of my classes indefinitely as long as you are a member. So you will get a code that you can use on any of my courses, any of my classes. There will be members only videos on Sunday. You may see them pop up on the channel as members only. You will have access to weekly members only videos. We do members only live streams once a month. And there's also members only Zoom workshops. And if you become a member later, you will have access to all of the information, all of the workshops, all of the classes that happened before you became a member. So it's really cool. Definitely check it out if you guys are interested. So let's get started. I do have a couple mentorships in a little bit over an hour, so I definitely want to kind of get this going so I don't have to leave you guys hanging or anything. So there's a couple things I just wanted to talk to you guys about today, and it's basically how to have an out-of-body experience, how to have an astral projection if you are just beginning. Every out-of-body experience that you have, it trains your brain to kind of adapt to those experiences, and it's much more likely that if you've had an out-of-body experience, you will have another one. So you could say that it does get easier to have these experiences as time goes on, but I do want to make it more simple for you guys. That way you guys don't have to figure out what works, what doesn't work, and spend tons of hours trying all these different things that potentially may or may not work. And so I just want to give you a couple pointers or a couple tips that you can use every single day, which over time will help you induce out-of-body experiences either at will or spontaneously. How many channel members do you have so far? So I have one of the channel members so far. I haven't really been promoting it, so it's Gib. I don't know if he's in here right now, but he's getting all of the content to himself, which is really awesome. I'm gonna start adding a lot more content to the members only, and then we're gonna grow that community. I really want to put a lot of time and energy to what I am doing for you guys. And even though I've had memberships open for less than a month, I have been working on so much content for you guys, and I'm actually going to be creating a course for members, specifically for members as well. So there will be lots of content available for everybody, but I also want to add, a few extra benefits or perks to being a member, because I really do appreciate your guys' support, and even you just hanging out on the channel, and watching the content really does mean a lot to me. So I want to be able to give back in any way that I can. And these are one of the ways that I plan to do that. So when it comes to what we're talking about today, there's just a few things that I want to cover with you guys. And the first one is our energy. Now, everything in the universe is energy, especially the core of our being is energy. And if energy is stuck or we don't know how to actually move the energy, we're not going to be able to have an out-of-body experience. Luckily, we can move our energy just with our thought and our breath alone. So one of the techniques that I want to give you guys is used in sexual transmutation practices. So it's basically taking all of the stuck energy that is at the root of our energy center, our first energy center, and actually move it up throughout the body. And you'll actually feel immediately after, you'll actually feel new energy in the top of your head. And I did this earlier today. I do a lot of breath work, a lot of breath of fire, left, right nostril breathing. If you guys aren't familiar with that, I can share some of that with you. But breath work is literally connected to everything. And you can have out-of-body experiences just by utilizing your breath more adequately, if that makes sense. Usually we take really shallow breaths, and we don't have any deep breaths to channel that energy up, and so it makes us feel kind of stuck. At least that's how I feel energetically. So I want to give you a quick technique that you can use every morning or every night before you go to bed to help you get used to moving that energy around so you can have an out-of-body experience a lot easier. So if you want to do this with me, you absolutely can. I want to show you guys a little bit how it works. That way you guys can use this anytime. So there's two different things that I want to share with you guys. Number one, this is a way to increase energy, to increase heat in the body, and this is the breath of fire. Now, I'm sure some of you have heard of this, and it is very, very beneficial for multiple reasons. If you look up benefits of fire breath or breath of fire, you will find so many benefits. So I definitely recommend looking that up. But this really helps get us going in the morning. It literally helps clear out all of the sludge or all of the heaviness that we don't need. It also helps elevate your mind to take you out of anxiety, stress, depression, and it even corrects insomnia. These are just a few of the benefits. I'm sure someone could write a whole book of all the benefits with breath work and breath of fire specifically. But I kind of want to show you how to do that. And it is a little bit difficult your first time doing it, so just keep up with it. But this will directly tie in to the breath technique that I'm going to show you after this. I did this earlier today. Yes, it is, Brooke. It is so powerful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Louise. Okay, so if you guys want to try this with me, just sit crisscross, cross-legged. And you can also sit on your knees as well. You basically want to make sure that your spine is erect, because when we're trying to move energy and breath, if we do not have an erect spine, it's like having, trying to spray water out of a kinked hose. It can't flow correctly unless it is erect and straight, so it can flow. So sit up straight. You can even have a pillow propping up your hips a little bit if that is easier. And basically, you're going to concentrate on very rapid exhales. So basically, it's going to sound like this. I'm only concentrating on the exhale, the pushing the air out with my stomach. So let me see if I can show you guys. So it's going to come from your diaphragm right here, and you're going to make really sharp inhales, and you're going to keep your mouth closed and breathe it out of your nose. So it's going to kind of look like this. You're going to be able to feel your abdomen actually pushing in, and you're going to do that for several minutes. We're not going to do that right now for several minutes, but you will notice how different you feel after doing this. And the reason why we do breath work is because most of us are living in survival consistently. And when we are living in survival, all of our energy is pushed down to the root chakra. So if we are living in survival, this means we're dealing with a lot of stress or guilt or worry or anxiety. Any of these emotions or energies attached to survival. And since the root chakra, actually the first 3 chakras, are connected to survival, all of our energy gets sucked there. And so you could feel a depletion of energy, you could feel stressed, you could feel just fatigued. And energy breath actually corrects all of these, because you're taking all of that energy, you're squeezing it out of those energy centers, and then you're moving it up through the body, and you can actually feel it immediately. So I would definitely recommend trying this, but first I'll start with the breath of fire like we talked about. So I'll literally do that straight for, I did it for 7 minutes today earlier, but at least for 3 to 5-ish minutes, but it is a little bit difficult to maintain that exhale. But you basically just want to sit up straight and rapid exhales. Don't worry about the inhale like we talked about, that's going to happen on its own, but you're going to create rapid exhales. Basically what it's going to sound like. Really, really powerful. Do that for about 5 to 7 minutes. I do this after I get up and before I go to bed. After we do the breath of fire, now we're going to actually move our energy up our body. And this helps with basically everything. I can't tell you how powerful this practice is, but I know that it also is very effective for having out-of-body experiences, because we're moving our energy, we're igniting our energy, we're creating a flow with our energy. And if there's no flow, it's going to be very hard to use our energy to leave our physical body when we're wanting to have an out-of-body experience. So there are ways that you can work with your energy during the day that will benefit you for your out-of-body experience practice. So after you have done that breath of fire, 3 to 5 minutes, you can even just do it for 30 seconds the first time to feel it out. Now we want to concentrate on squeezing out the energy from our first energy centers and moving it up. So we're going to do something called the root lock. That is how you basically wring out the energy from your root chakra, which is where all of our energy is kind of stored. And then we're going to activate it and move it up. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So again, you want to sit crisscross. You want to make sure that your spine is erect and straight. And now just take a few deep breaths. And you could just be a normal deep breath. When you're doing this, when you're pushing out the air, you kind of want to push in your diaphragm like you're squeezing all of the breath out. All right. After you've taken a few deep breaths, we're going to do what's called the root lock. So basically, it's going to feel like you have to go to the bathroom and you're trying to hold it in. That's basically what the root lock feels like. You're literally squeezing everything in, tightening everything in, and it's basically the same muscles if you were, if you needed to go to the bathroom. So that's basically how you do the root lock. And it's going to be hard to maintain it because it takes a lot of energy, right? And that's all the energy that we're going to be moving up to our crown chakra. So squeezing everything on your root chakra, so do the root lock. Squeeze everything in. It should take a lot of energy. That's kind of the point. And you're going to take just a small deep breath in. And now you're going to push in your lower and upper abdomen. So it's going to feel like you're pushing it against your spine. So you have your root locked still, and you're going to be pushing in your abdomen to your spine. It should almost feel like you're doing plank or you're doing crunches, just based off the muscles that are being used in this technique. So you have the root lock, you're squeezing everything in, and then you're pushing in your abdomen as close as you can to your spine. So all first three energy centers are activated right now. You're going to maintain that. And on the count of 3, you're going to breathe as much air as you can in while you're holding all of that in. You're going to breathe all of that energy up. Imagine all of that energy that you've been squeezing out of holding this root lock and holding your abs in. All of that energy is going to go up with your breath, and you're going to imagine it cooling in the third eye. So 1, 2, and keep everything squeezed. 3, inhale. Keep everything squeezed. Have as much air as you can. Oh my gosh, my abs are feeling really tired. That's a good sign. So keep your abs pushed in, keep the root locked. Imagine all of the energy coming to your third eye. You're gonna start to feel some energy pooling in your head. It's almost gonna feel like a fluid is working its way up your spine and into the crown of your head. Keep everything tightened, hold that breath in. When you can't hold anymore, let it all out, controlled. Completely relax those muscles. Your abs are gonna feel really tired. That's good, because you took the excess energy from those first 3 chakras that you didn't need there, and you're taking back your energy and you're moving it up throughout the body. We're gonna do that a couple more times, but you're going to start to actually feel this energy circulate. And it literally is charging up your mind, so you're going to get more creative ideas from doing this. You're going to feel balanced and much more calm than you probably would have felt if you didn't do this technique. And you're going to feel an overall just balance of energy and balance throughout your day. I would definitely recommend looking up the benefits to sexual transmutation, because, like I said, you could probably write an entire book on all of the benefits. Barney, yes, I am vegan. Okay, so we did it once, but we're going to do it 2 more times, and you can do it on your own as well, but I just wanted to show you how it works. So we're going to do the root lock, just like you have to go to the bathroom and you're holding everything in. You're going to squeeze everything in. Take a small deep breath in just to kind of work that energy up to the next center. Now you're going to push all your abs in, your lower abdomen and your upper abdomen in. You should have the root lock and those two muscles pushed into your spine. So it should feel like a ton of energy right here, almost like you're doing crunches. You can't quite hold it, but keep going. You got this. And once you kind of squeezing out the excess energy, you're going to breathe it all up. And if you need to, you can also put your finger right there. That way you can actually feel where to imagine that energy going. Keep everything squeezed in, have as much air as possible inside your lungs. And you're just gonna hold it. And then again, when you can't hold anymore, I'd recommend holding for as long as you can, but when you can't hold anymore, let everything out. I immediately feel more calm, a sense of joy just kind of like overcame me, you know, when you're like just going about your day and all of a sudden you have this really intense feeling of like gratitude or joy. That's what I feel directly after. I feel more calm. I feel more balanced. And I only did two breaths. Usually I'll do that for about 5 to 10 minutes. So I just kind of wanted to show you the breath of fire, you know, the rapid exhales, pushing your abdomen in, doing that, and then the sexual transmutation is what it's called, or igniting that energy, moving that energy, creating a flow of your energy up throughout your body. And this is also something that I learned from Master 𝑫𝒂𝒂𝒂, and I've been studying Master 𝑫𝒂𝒂𝒂 for a while. And a lot of his techniques and his teachings come from gurus in the Himalayan mountains. And so these practices are thousands and thousands and thousands of years old. But they're very, very powerful, and we can still use them to this day. Absolutely, and I definitely recommend it. So that's the first thing that I wanted to let you guys know about is breath work. Oh, there's one more form of breath work. So I'm giving you 3 breathwork techniques that you can use every day that will completely balance out your life. I'm not even kidding. But it will also aid you in lucid dreaming and out-of-body experiences. So the last energy technique that I want to give you, I call it left-right nostril breathing. Basically, you're going to be taking different inhales and exhales throughout each nostril, and it kind of channels the energy, moves the energy. Usually if we just breathe like this, we don't even realize it, but most of our breath is going in one nostril. So to create a flow of energy, it's all about moving that energy. A lot of these, even exercising, ignites that energy. So you want to find ways to ignite the energy, which will automatically aid you in your out-of-body experience practice and whatever else you use this for. So basically, you're going to plug one nostril, so I just use my thumb, and you're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. You're going to hold for 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now you're going to exhale for 8, but you're going to switch the nostril. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're basically inhaling through one nostril for 4 seconds, holding it for 12, and then exhaling for 8 on the other nostril. And then the same nostril you exhale out of, you're going to inhale out of, hold it for 12 seconds, switch, exhale for 8 seconds, inhale for 4, hold for 12, exhale for 8, and you're basically going to do that for a few minutes. So if you do all of these breathwork practices every morning, not only will you feel like you already had a cup of coffee without having your actual cup of coffee, but you will feel so balanced, so energized on a different level. It will probably take care of your physical pain if you're suffering from any physical pain, stress and anxiety. I used to have horrible panic attacks, probably like 6 to 7 times a day. Really horrible. And I was on 8 medications for my digestive issues and my anxiety at the time. And I am on nothing now. And the only thing that I changed in my life was lucid dreaming and an out-of-body experience practice, breathwork, and that kind of energy. Just doing these different practices. So I definitely want to share with you what I have learned or what has kind of helped me. But since we're talking about out-of-body experiences today, I definitely want to stay focused on that just for you guys, but this will aid your out-of-body experience practice. Because remember, thought and breath is where your energy goes. You can control and move your energy through your thought and your breath alone. So that's why when we do this sexual transmutation technique, for example, and we squeeze out all of the energy, we use our breath to rapidly bring that energy up, but we also use our visualization to bring that energy up. So it takes both of those things. So, and from doing these breathwork techniques, I've had spontaneous out-of-body experiences. Once your energy is aligned, like once it's like aligned in a certain way, that's when these experiences happen. You don't have to do techniques, you don't have to do all of these things. If you're wired correctly for these experiences, these will happen on their own. These experiences will happen on their own. So, Raphael, I'm glad that you asked that question, because now I want to get into one of the techniques that I think will really aid you guys. And you can do this as you're falling asleep. This doesn't have to be something that you you wake up and you do. You know, wake up in the middle of the night and you do, even though it can't, you can definitely use it for that. But this is something you can easily do as you're falling asleep. Nutrition related to lucid dreaming and OBEs? Absolutely. I'm glad you asked that. I definitely believe that nutrition is connected to these experiences, because even eating a heavy meal before bed could prevent you from having a lucid dream or even a dream. And what we consume is what we become. So if we're consuming all of these heavy, kind of like low vibrational foods, that becomes a part of our energy, you know? So what I'm doing anyways is I'm doing intermittent fasting. So basically every single day I fast for 16 hours, and then I have an 8-hour eating window. That way I'm not eating throughout the entire day, depleting my body of all its energy because it's trying to concentrate on eating all the food that I'm eating. I can clear my energy out. I can clear the vessel of my physical body to prepare it to actually use its energy for something else besides just digesting food all the time. So even more importantly, what you do eat is very, very important, but it's almost when you eat is almost equally important, believe it or not. So I would definitely take into account what time you guys are eating. If you guys have been eating like a burger right before you go to bed and you've been wondering why you haven't had an out-of-body experience, that is probably why. So we want to look at the habits we already have and really observe, is this negatively affecting what I'm doing? How can I replace it with a positive equivalent? So this is all a self-development practice and figuring out what you're doing right, what you could adjust, and creating your own flow. So one tip regarding diet, like don't eat 2 hours before bed, if possible. That will definitely help you increase your dream recall and your experiences, because the vehicle has to feel light, you guys. The vehicle, as in this vessel, it has to feel light. We cannot feel heavy. We cannot feel fatigued by our waking habits. We have to adjust our habits to the experiences we want to have. So keep that in mind, but I did want to give you guys a technique really quick. Let me catch up with chat really quick. Sorry, guys. Okay. Yep, Raphael, we're going to get to that technique. Thank you so much. I don't know if it's because it's October and the veil is thinning, but I've had 4 lucid dreams since the 1st of this month. So I think it's the perfect month to try an astral. Awesome! That's so, so, so cool. Are they just random, spontaneous experiences? Or I've been using induction techniques? Because that's really interesting. I've been having random, spontaneous experiences. It's really weird. I'll reach a place in meditation where it feels like I'm dreaming, like it looks like a movie, but I'm not dreaming. And that happens, but lately it's been happening a lot more. So yeah, maybe there's some sort of collective shift happening with Neptune that is making us have these more dreamy experiences. Neptune is associated with the dream world, guys. That's why I am bringing up Neptune, especially when that goes in retrograde. We seem to have a lot of experiences connected to that. Can I astral project without doing one? Yeah, so you can have an out-of-body experience in any state of consciousness, even while you're awake. For any of you who haven't seen my video, I did make a video of when I astral projected while I was walking my dog. I don't want to tell you guys that you will be able to induce one of those experiences because that happens spontaneously, so the easiest way to have an out-of-body experience is to target your REM. Or use this technique that I'm about to give you guys. This technique doesn't require you to wake up at all. You can use this technique anytime you want to. And the more you use this technique and the more familiar you get with this technique, the easier it becomes. Let's meet up. I'm ready. Actually, there's this cool thing that I want to implement for my memberships. Anyone who's interested. Memberships on my channel start at $4.99 a month, and I basically want to create this dream team within my memberships where I share techniques that I haven't shared on the channel. We all try different challenges and techniques together, and we try to have shared dreams, shared out-of-body experiences. It's like a little dream team. That's what I want to create in my memberships. So if that interests you guys, definitely check out my memberships. Like I was saying earlier, I'm definitely going to be adding a lot of content, monthly guided meditations, monthly workshops. You can get 10% off all of the services that I offer indefinitely, as long as you're a member, and so much more. And weekly videos on Sunday. So there's going to be a lot added to memberships, and I'm going to be dedicating a lot of time to my membership. So if you want to check those out, there should be a join button right next to subscribe. And we'll get that going. I'm planning a lot of that right now, so I'm super excited for memberships. Okay, let's see. I do reality checks and meditate sometimes, but they happen easier and minimal effort. Yeah, and dialed is actually one of the easiest ways to have an out-of-body or lucid dream. That's what I try to help people with. And dialed isn't even like a technique. It's based off like your lifestyle, you know, because you've become more conscious and aware. So if you guys are like wanting to have consistent lucid dreams, that is definitely the best way to do it. Yes, you can meet people in the astral realm. If it is like a physical person you're trying to meet up with, like a friend, really you want to time it for the same time. You really want to be on the same frequency, and you have to be in the same mood, because your mood or your emotions is energy in motion. And if you guys are not on the same emotional frequency, you guys won't end up in the same place. That's how it works in the out-of-body experience. If you go into the out-of-body experience very stressed, very depressed, that is a very low, dense frequency. So when you get out of body, if you even do get out of body at that point, it'll be very dark, it'll be very hazy, you'll almost feel like you're walking through peanut butter. It's because you entered the plane that matched your frequency. And that's why they say the higher your frequency is, the higher your elevated emotions you experience, the higher you'll be able to travel in these different multidimensional planes of existence. For example, if you go into an out-of-body experience depressed, how we talked about it being really groggy and hazy and dark, and you can't really see, and it feels like you're moving through sludge. But if you go into the out-of-body experience state in your highest state of consciousness, very elevated, maybe you just got out of a meditation, maybe you just did breath work, and you're feeling very clear, your channels are very clear, then when you have an out-of-body experience, things will feel light, things will feel full of love, like you will enter this beautiful, bright, almost angelic kind of place, is at least what kind of happens to me if I'm like really, and you can change your emotional frequency as you're in the experience, but it's definitely good to make sure before you go into the experience, your channels are cleared. So this is why the breath work is important. This is why meditation is important. This is why all of this is important, because your emotional frequency determines your experiences. So it's, like I said, it's a lot of self-work. It's just figuring out how to align with these experiences energetically. Now, I want to give you guys a technique. Maybe get your notebooks out if anyone has a notebook near. This is called the target technique, and this is something you can do every night before bed, but I want to break it down for you easier. And the reason why I'm asking you guys to bring a notebook if you have one is because you want to choose an area in your room or in your house and a few objects, because we're going to use those as targets. So basically how this technique works is you're going to choose either an area of your house or you're going to choose a few objects in your house, and you want this area or these objects to be in a different room than where you're going to be having your out-of-body experience. The reason why is because you want to transfer your awareness to the area or the objects and away from your physical body. So let me kind of explain how this works. This is what I chose for my target. So I chose my painting area. You guys can't see it right now, but I have an art table, I have paintings everywhere, I have tapestries everywhere. I have a lot going on over here. You want to get very familiar with your specific target, because you want to be able to imagine that area or those objects so vividly during your meditation that your brain actually believes that it's happening, and it shifts you. Your awareness literally moves to that area out of your body. It's so crazy how it happens. You'll be in meditation, your eyes will be closed, you'll be imagining that space in your house that you chose as your target. All of a sudden, it will start to get more real, more real, more real. All of a sudden, it's like you opened your eyes and you're at that location. You used an area or an object in your house to literally get you to leave your physical body. So what I want you to do, if you guys have a paper, I want you to choose either an area in your house or 2 to 3 objects that are next to each other somewhere. So if you chose your art area, you want to go into your art area while you're awake, and you want to take in as much about this area as you can. The textures, the smells of this area, what objects feel like, what the walls feel like. You want to become so familiar with this area that you can easily visualize almost every part of it. So you might have to do this, you might have to go over to that area every time before you go to bed or whenever you do this technique. But you want to become so familiar with that area that you can visualize it with ease when you're doing your technique. If you decide to use objects instead of an area, maybe instead of your art area, you want to choose 3 paintings, or maybe like a painting and a figurine and like a rose quartz stone or something. You basically want to choose, if you don't choose an area in your house, you want to choose 2 to 3 objects that you can study. Look at the imperfections. Look at the colors. Look at the texture. Every single detail that you can pick up about these objects, you want to really be aware of. Because when you're in your meditation, you're going to imagine feeling these objects, smelling these objects, looking very closely at these objects, every angle of these objects. You want to become very familiar with these targets. And again, you can do this with an area in your house, or you can choose a few targets. So, like I said, I chose an art table, or my art area. So basically, you're gonna write down on your paper what your target is. Where's my pen? Okay. So my target is my art room. Now, if you need to, you can write down the textures you've experienced, the smells, anything. You really want to become so familiar with this space. And again, you can do this with an area in your house or a couple objects. Now, let's say that you've been studying these objects or this area of your room for about 10 to 15 minutes. You literally want to feel like a detective of your environment. Whatever you decide to use for your target. Now, let's say that I studied my whole art area. I picked up the energy. Like, you know when you are in a specific room and you close your eyes and you can almost feel the room around you energetically. You can literally feel the room that you're in. It has a specific energy to it, right? You really want to like take that in, because when you're laying down in bed, you're going to want to imagine that you're sitting in that area so vividly that you actually feel the energy of that room. And that's literally the key to getting this technique to work. Now, there's a few different things that can happen during this technique. You might have an out-of-body experience immediately when doing this, because you've created the visualization of that room or those objects, and the sensation of touching those objects or being in that room so vividly that you immediately move and transfer your awareness to that area. Or you may have a random spontaneous out-of-body experience in the middle of the night, or over time, you seem to just wake up in an out-of-body experience. Lots of things can happen during this technique, but I want to tell you the secret to having out-of-body experiences. If you remember anything from anything I've talked about regarding out-of-body experiences, it is to disconnect with your physical environment and your physical body so vividly, your brain actually believes you're somewhere else. If you're in a meditation and you were just imagining walking down a river or by a river, and you imagined it so vividly, that's enough to get you out of body. You know why? Because you disassociated with your physical body and you disassociated with your physical environment. Now your consciousness is separate from your physical environment because you're not relying on your physical environment or your physical body. You're literally separating your awareness and taking it somewhere else. Another target that you could use is maybe your childhood home. Do you remember what your childhood home looked like? Do you remember the feeling? Do you remember maybe the art that was in the house or the furniture? You can do this as well. As you're going to sleep, imagine your childhood home. Imagine being there. Imagine being in the backyard and climbing the tree like you used to. Whatever it is, you want to create another reality in your mind so vividly that your brain literally forgets about your body. It literally forgets about your environment. It literally is transported to another world just through thought alone. That is the key to having out-of-body experiences. You need to disassociate with your physical body and the environment your body is in. That's why we're using a target. So we can be so involved in that target. So we can imagine it so vividly. So we can imagine being near it so clearly that our brain actually assumes that that is more real than what we're actually experiencing. Like we've talked about on this channel, your brain cannot tell the difference between something that you're imagining or something that is actually happening. So we're basically using that to our advantage to get out of body. If you can create a scenario in your mind, just like through the targets, if you can imagine being somewhere else or doing something else so vividly that it actually feels more real than what you're experiencing, that is a perfect recipe for having an out-of-body experience. Hey, June. Puppy. All right, let me see. Just a little return. Yeah, and the main thing is, like, we don't need anyone else to convince us. Like, when someone's like, oh, I don't believe you're having an out-of-body experience, the thing we need to realize is that though, depending on your emotional frequency, the environment's gonna look different. So if you go up to someone and say, oh, I don't believe you've had an out-of-body experience because you are not explaining the environment correctly. Like, everyone's environment is different based off the information that's already in your consciousness or based off your emotional frequency. It's going to be different for everybody. And I always tell people, don't believe me, don't take my word for it. I want you to try this out for yourself. Because I know that it works. And if anyone questions if it's real, I don't need to convince anybody that it's real. Because I 100% know what I'm experiencing. And working with all the people that I've been working with and, you know, the clients that I've been working with, like, this is something that can be studied and repeated. This is not a spontaneous one-time experience. Based on circumstances, these experiences can be repeated, and that's what I'm trying to help you guys do through a couple simple techniques. So we have the moving and igniting your energy. I gave you guys 3 breath techniques, 3 breathing techniques. I would definitely recommend using at least 1 a day, but if you use all 3, that is even better. We have our target technique. So choose a target, choose an area of your house, examine that target or examine that area of your house. Again, you can also use your childhood home in meditation if you want to, or something like that. Become so familiar with those targets that your brain actually believes that's more real than what you're experiencing in your meditation. You want to forget where your body is. You want to forget the room you're in. You want to be so involved in that visualization with your target that your awareness literally transfers to that area. The next thing, which we've talked about, is mind awake, body asleep. This, my friends, this is very important. If we can bring consciousness into the unconscious state, We will literally become superhuman. And you might think I'm exaggerating. I am not. Even in Tibetan Buddhism, they talk about sleep yoga, where they can actually, it's like dream yoga, where you become lucid in dreaming sleep, but sleep yoga is actually becoming conscious in deep, dreamless sleep. If we can bring conscious awareness into these unconscious states, we will discover a part of ourselves that we didn't even know was there. They talk about, in Tibetan Buddhism, with sleep yoga, they say that that stage of sleep is the pillar of enlightenment. So it's actually a very high state of consciousness. And this happens every single night because we naturally go into these states. But how can we bring that consciousness into the unconscious state? Well, I do have a technique to help get you started. There's a few techniques you can do. If you are a member, you will see my video on the hypnagogic drop-in technique. You can use that one. Or simply, as you're falling asleep, you just want to see how long you can hold on to your conscious awareness. You can think of an image, you can count, you can just watch the hypnagogic imagery unfold as your eyes are closed. But you want to anchor a little bit of awareness. Just a little bit. Even if you dip in and out of sleep, that's perfect. Because what you're doing in this state is, even if you fall asleep, you're bringing your conscious awareness back up. And so your brain is still going into these deep states, your subconscious is still opening as your conscious mind is closing, but you're taking your consciousness directly into your subconscious mind. Do you realize how powerful this is, guys? Do you realize what people go to like hypnotherapists for? Like physical pain, like depression, like anxiety, all of these things you can actually do yourself if you enter the right state of consciousness. Because with hypnosis, all they're doing is basically the same thing. They're guiding your awareness into the subconscious mind so we can actually see the information about ourselves that we can't see during waking life. But we can access these states by ourselves. The last 2 minutes of wakefulness, as you're falling asleep, that's when your conscious mind starts to close and your subconscious mind starts to open. So this is why it's a very good time to use affirmations, anything that you want to affirm or bring into your life, any visualizations, anything you're wanting to experience, or anything that you're wanting to go directly to the subconscious mind is definitely recommended to do right before sleep or as you wake up. But if you're working on carrying that awareness into sleep, which you can use to experience sleep yoga, lucid dreaming, out-of-body experiences, like whatever you want, it's such an incredible practice. If you can just maintain a little bit of conscious awareness and practice that every night, just literally hold on to awareness as long as you can before you fall asleep. That's literally all you have to do. You're gonna realize it starts to get easier and easier and easier. And eventually you're gonna be like, I don't know if this is working, I'm still awake. And all of a sudden a dream will start. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm actually asleep. I just got so used to carrying this conscious awareness into sleep. It just became so easy. I didn't know I was actually asleep. You will literally be able to induce wild lucid dreams at will. Literally one of the hardest techniques to use, wake-induced lucid dreams. You'll be able to use and induce those at will just by practicing mind awake, body asleep. You basically just want to trick your body into thinking you're asleep. As you're laying down, falling asleep, just keep your awareness. See how long you can hold on to that awareness as you're falling into sleep. And there are tons of techniques around this that I want to share with you guys. And we're definitely going to do that in future live videos as well on Mondays. Because there's a million techniques that you can use in the hypnagogic state. And I was actually talking to one of my clients the other day, and I asked him what he would like me to talk about on my channel, and he was saying he would love to hear about what else we can use hypnagogic imagery for. Because you can use the hypnagogic state for so much more than just lucid dreaming and out-of-body experiences. A lot more. And so I definitely want to get into that in the future. Because these states of consciousness that we can access every single night, You guys don't even realize how powerful you are, and I hope you do. You have so much wisdom, so much knowledge, so much potential, even if it isn't consciously tapped into. I want you guys to be able to discover and embody the mystery of self. Who you actually are. Not this meat suit, not this vehicle. Beyond that, beyond what we can actually perceive with our physical senses. And these are techniques that will really help you ignite this part of yourself that we don't really get to interact with directly. So, definitely do the breath work we talked about. Gave you guys 3 techniques. Target technique. Choose a target. I would concentrate on one target for a while, just so you can really get familiar with that object or that room, and really, because it will get easier and easier and easier every time you do the target technique. So choose an area of your house or a couple targets and work towards that. And then mind awake, body sleep. Again, it's so simple. We're going to get into a lot more techniques, but it's literally just trying to keep your mind awake as your body falls asleep. And guys, like that technique alone, if you guys can master that, not only will you be able to enter sleep paralysis, the vibrational state it will, but you could literally guide yourself into out-of-body experiences and lucid dreams without any prior sleep, just by practicing this every single day. So I definitely recommend that. Those are the 3 main things that I want to let you guys know about. Again, gave you guys like 5 different techniques in here. I was only gonna do like 2 main ones, but I want you guys to be able to try a few different things and kind of experiment with it. And especially if you're just starting out, if you've never had an out-of-body experience before, these are the things that I'd recommend. Also, if you don't believe out-of-body experiences are possible, that is also stopping you. It's better to not know what you believe than believe something that is stopping you from having an experience that is contrary to your beliefs, you know? Have an open mind, suspend all disbelief. Doesn't hurt to try. You don't lose anything giving this a shot, you know? And so I would definitely recommend asking yourself, what do I really think about out-of-body experiences? Because if there's anything left over subconsciously or emotionally that is blocking you from having these experiences, you will know, and it will keep showing up over and over and over. So if you think that this practice is too woo-woo to be real, or if you just assume everyone who says they've had an out-of-body experience is lying, or if you believe that you really are your body and there's nothing else to it, these limiting beliefs are stopping you from having an out-of-body experience. You need to be able to release everything. Let go of all the limiting beliefs that are stopping you. Because even if you're doing all the techniques, even if you're doing all the work, if you truly don't believe that out-of-body experiences are even real, or that you are capable of doing them, you are right. Whatever you tell yourself over and over and internalize and believe, that becomes truth for you and your experience. So really know that your beliefs about anything is influencing your situations regarding that in waking life. Doesn't matter if it's about out-of-body experiences, lucid dreams, whatever. If something's not working out for you in life, you need to look at your beliefs around that, because that is most likely what is preventing you from moving forward. But we'll get into all of that in the future. Simply about out-of-body experiences today. A little bit about lucid dreaming. I definitely want to get into all of that in the future, because guys, I've been working on so many new things lately, and I just have so much to share, but I want to keep it really structured today for out-of-body experiences, because I want to be able to help you guys have these experiences. That's literally what a huge part of this channel is about, right? Is creating a practice that will help induce lucid dreams and out-of-body experiences so we can transform our lives through the power of our consciousness. Anyone can do it. And I want to make it as easy as possible for you. So again, I would definitely recommend doing the target technique. If any of you are enrolled in my out-of-body experience course, Beyond Lucidity, there is a very in-depth video on this technique that you can check out. And I think there's a brief one in the Lucid Dream course as well. Guys, if you're interested in any of my courses, I have 3 out right now. You can find them here. If you want a coupon for one of my classes, email me at contact.thelucidmystic@gmail.com, and I will give you an exclusive coupon. I have a few left. I think I have 4 left. So the first 4 people to email me at that email will get the discount for my course. And we'll go from there. There's a lot of information in there that I think will be beneficial to you. And keep in mind, I am still adding more to these courses, even to this day. So if you sign up for my course, from that point on, you still get all of the new uploads, all of the new content that is added to that course after. But if you do want to take your lucid dreams or out-of-body experiences to the next level, and you want to work with me more one-on-one, definitely check out that link. You can also shoot me an email. If you're interested in personal one-on-one mentorships instead of a video course, I offer that as well. Within the next month, since I'm getting so many signups for my mentorships, I will be increasing my prices a little bit. So if you're interested in looking into that, now is definitely the time. Just reach out to me. We'll figure it out. But I want you guys to know that I am seriously here for you. Like, even if it's not lucid dream or out-of-body experience related, I know that's basically what this channel is around, but there is so much more to the work that I am showing you guys. So much more. It's not just how can we induce lucid dreams or how can we induce out-of-body experiences, but what can we actually use these experiences for? How can I use this to fuel my desires in life and actually get me to where I want to be? That's truly my passion. And it might just seem like all I kind of do or talk about is lucid dreaming or out-of-body experiences, but there is so much, we aren't even touching the surface of this work so far. I really want to show you guys how deep this work goes, how deep your consciousness goes, and what we can actually do with it, you know? Alright guys, that is all for me today. I do have a mentorship I got to run to. Definitely check out the courses if you're interested. Again, you can send me an email for an exclusive coupon. Definitely check out the memberships. For as little as $4.99 a month, you can get tons of exclusive benefits, tons of perks, tons of content that nobody else can see on the channel, and 10% off all my courses, mentorships, and everything like that. Okay, I love you guys so much. I hope that this helped you. Definitely leave any, I know that some of you will be watching this on the replay, so definitely leave in the comments if you guys have any questions. And again, you guys can always email me as well. I love you all so much, and I will be back next Monday for our next live. I love you guys so much, and again, thank you so much for joining. And as always, you guys already know, I'm sending you endless love and endless lucidity.